Hey everybody, Coach Mel here, and I'm with my guest, Keith Warner. And this is our first meeting. We appreciate you following Keith's story. Again, we're going to use the hashtag Saving Keith's Life, and we just want to get you guys up to speed about our history together and what Keith has been through. I met Keith at my coffee stand, Leopard Lattes, years ago. He was a very, very loyal client, and we became very good friends and got to know each other. And then when I opened up my personal training studio, Metamorphosis, Keith was there the first year I was open. And we worked together one-on-one. Was it 2 days a week, Keith, I believe? Yeah. And unfortunately, finances came between us, which happens with people. But we're just going to kind of start there, and we're going to touch on what happened when Keith left me and how we came to reconnect now. So Keith, when you were working with me, what do you feel like your health was, and how did you feel it affected you? Was it helping you to get that 2 days of training in?
Yeah, it was. It helped with my endurance and my flexibility because I've had osteoarthritis in my knees for 10 plus years, probably since the early 90s, mid 90s, and it's always an issue. So when I started working out with you, it wasn't a concentration on strength training all the time. It was because you did everything. You did a lot of core training, which I think was more beneficial to me because that helped me in my center. Like the core. It increased my flexibility and my endurance, and it made, because I was at that time I was a custodian for North Idaho College, and it even made that part of my job easier. So yeah, there were several benefits just working out 2 days a week with you for half an hour.
Yeah. And the one thing, you guys, if you're not from here, my studio was very private, and Keith had some reservations, obviously, about, he's not the big box gym type. I mean, I think that would have been distracting for you, Keith. And I think that coming into my studio was just what he needed because it's private, nobody's staring at you. And the one thing that I will say about you, Keith, I think that the things that I had you do that you could do surprised you.
Yeah.
I think you kind of, in your mind, felt like you were super limited, and I don't think you're limited, as limited as you think you are. So what happened since you've left me? Because that was 2015. What's gone on since we?
Well, right about that time, my dad had a battle for several years with dementia, and it was really tough on the family. And while I was still with you doing the workouts, he had passed away, and we all in the family all knew this was coming. So it's not like it was a big surprise or anything. And it was kind of a blessing because he was at peace now, and not. If anybody's dealt with dementia or Alzheimer's, they'll know what I'm saying with that. His mind was at rest now, so that didn't affect us too bad. It was still sad to see him go and everything, but shortly after that, I have a roommate, which was, she was probably my best friend, and we were so close for 30 plus years. She battled alcoholism and everything that was involved with it, the depression, the anxiety, the health issues, the working and not working, can't keep down a job. Well, she was living with me. That created a financial stress on me when she couldn't pay rent. But I wasn't going to kick her out because we had been so close for so many years. And then it really started being a struggle, and that's financially is when I had to not work out with you in your Metamorphosis anymore. And then in the middle part of 2016, the health of my roommate, she was deteriorating, and she was 2 years younger than me. She drank a half a gallon of vodka every day.
Wow.
For quite a few
Oh my gosh.
straight months. It was a fifth a day.
Wow.
And it took the toll on her, and she started getting sick. Make a long story short, there in November 7th of 16,
Yeah.
she passed away.
I'm so sorry.
Here we go. At my home.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I haven't done this in a long time.
It's good to talk about. And when you were my client, Keith, I'm gonna give you a second to get your wits about you. I remember you're kind of like me, where we just want to save the world. And you know, one thing that we both know, because my mom's also an alcoholic, you can't save somebody that doesn't want to be saved.
Yeah, I found that out.
And you helped her. You tried to help her.
Yeah, she that day she died in my arms.
Uh-huh.
EMT people got there, resuscitated her, got her a heartbeat, but she wasn't conscious. Got her back to the hospital, and then 8:30 that night, the family decided to basically pull the plug.
I'm so sorry.
So she died on me twice one day. So after all that, I'll get through this here in just a second.
Oh, take your time. You know, our friend Scotty's been gone for 5 years, Keith.
Yeah.
I still cry. It never gets, it's just a huge loss.
Yeah, I know. So after she passed, I thought I was strong enough to be able to, well, make it through this. I didn't. I crawled in a shell. And all I did was work, see my family, and eat. I wasn't working out anymore. Matter of fact, I think I saw you once at Walmart a couple weeks after she passed away.
I remember that.
And I was in fairly good spirits. I was talking to you.
Yeah, I thought so.
And well, it went downhill from there. And not to make excuses, but I fell into a depression, didn't want to do anything. Well, it started taking a toll on my health. I started gaining the weight back, and all the gains that I had made from working out with you, I'd lost all those, so the weight started going on, and then more stress on the knees, and then not wanting to be out in public, except maybe see my family or my small close knit of friends that I was still making excuses not to go do anything. 2 years of that, and I had the winter after she passed away, I had an episode with my heart. It went into atrial flutter, and that cleared up. And then a year after that is when I was diagnosed with blood clots in my legs, and they moved into my lungs to cause a pulmonary embolism. And my weight was reaching over 500 pounds. And so from the time this all happened in the early part of 2018, I was still employed by North Idaho College, but I had to take 12 weeks off to let the blood clots clear through my body. And during that time, it had weakened my legs to the point where it was really tough to get around and walk and everything. So that inactivity, the weight even went up more from there. With the arthritis in my knees and the weakness in my legs, I got up to almost 600 pounds. And in April of 19 of this year, I decided I got to do something or I'm not going to be around much longer. So just on my own since April, I've lost 30 plus pounds.
That's great.
And trying to figure out and get the motivation and not be so scared to try to take the next step and get my life back in order.
What do you think has helped the weight loss?
I had a new roommate, and one of my best friends moved in. She prepared a lot of meals for me, and
Okay.
it was portion size was a big
Okay.
thing. What I was eating is another big thing.
Mhm.
I have not been able to do hardly any physical activity because
Mhm.
I mean I have to walk with a cane now, and I
Mhm.
take pain meds for
Mhm.
the arthritis in my knees.
Mhm.
So of course with all that inactivity, it's made my hips hurt and lower back because I haven't been able to do anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
So right now it's just been diet, portion sizes, and what I've been eating. Which is very important.
How do you know what you weigh? Who's weighing you?
I was at a doctor's office, my doctor's office, and then there was another issue with my legs. I ended up getting some, they're called edema wounds. They're pressure wounds that are caused from excessive swelling in your legs, and that's also from the blood clots. You get the swelling. Well, blood pools in your legs, and if you don't have good circulation, and it's got to go somewhere, so it creates these wounds. I went to the Kootenai Wound Clinic in Coeur d'Alene there, and they have a big scale there, so they.
So do you feel like right now you're about 570?
I would think 570 or less.
Or less, okay. And what do you think you weighed when we were working together? I'd have to.
I would say I was in 450 or.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But
big
I was
difference.
but that was a lot more active at that time too. So
Okay.
I was
All
able to maneuver. Take care of myself. You know, I've been a very large person all my life, but I have always been able to take care. I worked 40 hours a week for 30 years.
For sure.
Between bartending and
on your feet.
Custodial.
Yeah.
And it never got to me until this happened in 2018 with blood clots. I kind of felt like I kind of gave up.
Do you think that the pulmonary embolism, I researched it before you came, Keith, and one of the main factors of it is inactivity. Do you feel like that was a contributor to?
I do, yes.
And being bedridden or too much bed rest were the two that I saw?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Just checking with you because you know you've heard everything from the doctors. I just kind of quickly looked on the internet because I haven't worked with anybody that's had a pulmonary embolism. But
yeah, it was the combination of being at home, not wanting to do anything, and just, I mean, I was even working at the time, so I had that physical part of my life. You know, custodian's a very physical job, so I was even working, but I was doing nothing else but working.
Okay. And then do you know the risk factors that are associated with pulmonary embolism?
Yes.
What are they?
They could turn into, one of the clots could break off and go to the brain, cause strokes or heart attacks.
And then I read cancer and inflammatory bowel disease. I don't know if they've mentioned that to you. The first
Not
thing
as
I
much.
see is cancer on there, so yeah. So the reason that we're sitting here today is I saw Keith at Super One, and of course, you know, I miss seeing him all the time, so I ran up to his window. He may have not wanted to see me, and that's pretty common. And unfortunately, when you lose your accountability coach, you can tend to lose yourself. So if you're wondering if your health is worth hiring an accountability coach, it is, because that's what kept Keith going. He knew we had an appointment, and I saw him every Tuesday, Thursday. I think it was at 10 o'clock, and it really did help. And, you know, back then you were probably 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Very fair to say.
I messaged Keith, and it took him a couple days to message me back, but I got a real heartfelt message from him, and he said that, you know, he had been looking for a sign. Probably gonna cry too. But I don't believe in coincidence, and there's a reason that I saw him there. And now that I'm doing my lifestyle page, this is what I'm about. This is what I've always been about. So, if I can help Keith in any way, you know, find his best self. And some words that he used were disappointed, ashamed, scared, you know, wants to get back to his best self. A question on the message was, is there hope? And, you know, how do I put back together what you call it,
like the $6 million man, how do we
$6 million
rebuild?
man. And you know what, Keith, I'll tell you, and I did say on the message too, I'm no bullshit. And he knows I'm the real deal. And he has a lot of support in his life, but he doesn't have somebody with my expertise. Also, Keith knows I'm a very real person. I'm compassionate. I'm very human. I don't pass judgment. I don't see your size, Keith. I see you. So you know that, right?
Right.
So,
And just to clarify, when I saw you at Super One, it's not that I didn't want to see you, because I have still followed you online with social media,
oh, thank you.
trying to build up the courage to start again. And then when I
Yeah.
saw you come running up, I said, that's a sign for me
Yeah.
to, okay, here it is, take that opportunity, let's do this. It
Yeah.
still took me almost 2 weeks to reply to the message that you sent me on Facebook.
Yeah.
It still took me, because I got to get through that whole thing, because it was kind of a long text.
Yeah,
I gave you
I
back,
was
so-
glad. I was glad. And if he wouldn't have texted me, I would have nagged him, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
So, here we are, and I will tell you, kind of like being overweight, food is an addiction. Kind of like Brenda. Although you and I want, you know, although you wanted to help Brenda, you couldn't help Brenda until she wanted to help herself. So my question to you, Keith, is, do you truly want to help yourself?
Yes.
Do you think you're worth it?
Yes.
Okay? Because in my line of work, people tell me all the time, oh, you need to help this person, you need to help that person, and it's like, I do think I can save the world, but I can't save you unless you think you're worth saving and you're willing to be saved, and also have enough respect for me as your coach. You have to give me something. The ladies that are coming after you, one of the daughters, I was really frank with her a couple weeks ago, and I said, look, if I'm giving you my valuable time for free, you've got to give me something. You've got to respect me and show me that you're making some changes each week. So it's really emotional, and I really have to get into your psyche and see where you're at mentally, and you have to trust me. And the one thing I think most importantly, Keith, you can't focus on your past, because you can't change it. You can only focus on what each day brings you. And if you think you're worth it, if you want to live, if you want to lead a healthy lifestyle, then you're going to live. But most importantly, we have to focus on what you can do. And I know you were athletic in the past. You and I had great training sessions together. It made me feel so good when you left, because I know you felt strong and you were like, wow, you know, you were doing core stuff, you were lifting weights, we were getting some cardio in.
There were sometimes I'd leave your workouts and my legs would be shaking. I didn't know if I was even going to get to my vehicle to sit down. I had to sit there for 15 minutes and just like, holy cow.
Yeah. And I think that now, we've got some issues. All that extra weight is putting unwanted pressure on your hips and your joints and your knees, and it's preventing you from walking. But you know what? You're not dead.
Right.
We're not dying. You're not going to die on my dime. So we need to just put a plan in motion and figure out what we can do. You know that the nutrition part of it is so important, and you've already lost 30 pounds. That's got to feel really good.
Yeah, and that 30 pounds was not even trying that hard.
Yeah, for sure.
See, the years ago when I went on that diet, because I was going to have that weight loss surgery years ago, and in 2005 is when I started that. I was going to have the surgery. The doctors put me on their weight loss program, their diet program. They wanted me to lose like 70 pounds to get to a safer weight to have the surgery.
Mhm.
Well, I lost 70 pounds in 3 months at that time, and we both agreed, you know, if you can do this on yourself, you don't need the surgery. And I did. I got to the point where I lost
Wow.
230 pounds.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
clear. I was clear down to 305 pounds
Wow, Keith,
at
that's
one time.
awesome.
And then life takes over.
Mhm.
You know, my
Mhm.
nephew and his girlfriend both OD'd, and
Mhm.
they died back in 13.
Mhm.
My dad dying,
Mhm.
Brenda dying, and
Mhm.
finally it broke me.
Yeah, for sure. You're only human. You can only take so much.
Yeah, so the weight went back on, and
Mhm.
I want to be able to move again.
I want you to be able to move again.
I
Can't imagine. I'm so thankful every
Yeah.
day that I can move.
like I told you, you know, I've been big all my life and being able to take care of my own responsibilities, work
Mhm.
40 hours a week for
Mhm.
30 plus years,
Mhm.
and until 18, where that knocked it all out, and you start to feel sorry for yourself. But
Mhm.
that's where I'm at now,
Mhm.
and I'm making strides. I'm doing better mentally,
Good.
and I'm
Good.
starting to do better with the health and stuff. It's just
Good.
it's baby steps.
Yeah. So tell me 3 things that you fear working with me,
That I fear working
or
with
through
you.
this process. What do you fear? What has the reason that people don't start is because they're scared. What 3 things scare you?
Failure.
Okay.
Um, Publicity. So this right here is a lot for me. I like my stuff, myself being very private, and I love being around the people that I love, but I don't. You know, I worked 30 years in a bar too,
Mhm.
and that kind of ruined me about wanting to be around people
Yeah.
anymore.
But everybody loves you.
Yes, and I know that, and I love everybody too. It's just I got to the point where I didn't want to publicize my life anymore.
Mhm.
So, you know, I crawl in the shell. So
Mhm.
I guess being more active socially,
Mhm.
I guess, is a fear.
Mhm. Okay.
And I think I said failure already.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can think of another fear
Okay.
right now
Okay.
besides
Well, that's
those.
not very many.
That's, I mean, a fear of not changing, but I know I'm going to.
Mhm.
And I know changing my life will just, that will fall in with being more social.
Yeah.
So if I start changing my life and feel like being around people more, that's going to kill 2 of the fears right there.
Yeah.
I guess another one of my fear is my heart,
Mhm.
you know, physically.
Mhm.
Because I know I have atrial flutter and atrial fibrillation,
Mhm.
but it's controlled through meds.
Good.
And of course I'm on the blood thinners because of the blood clots, and I have to stay on those.
Mhm. Well, my thoughts on this are as far as your fear of your heart. You know, I don't like to what if. What if Josh left my house and crossed the street and got run over by a
Right.
car? You can't what if, you know. If you feel you've got your medication, you've got it under control, and you're taking all these steps towards making your heart stronger, and you know, I'm sure you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Are you any diabetes or?
No.
Yes.
That's been a
Good.
I've been lucky there.
Okay,
no
good.
diabetes, just
Good.
and everything else is controlled through
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So as far as failure, if I'm your coach, I'm not gonna let you fail.
I know.
And I am a good coach. I'm not just one thing, I'm everything. I have 100% confidence that if you want to change and you feel like you're worth changing, that we can change you, but you have to be all in. As far as publicity, I didn't ask you to be on my videos to exploit you or make fun of you in any way. I want you to put yourself out there so that you have support. And that how good of a feeling would it be if somebody said, oh my gosh, Keith, I'm I'm in your boat. I thought there wasn't hope for me, and maybe even suicidal. Would that not make you feel good?
Okay.
Like, just to pay it forward, that's why I think you should share your story. Also, my hopes is that a little pressure is good. A pressure of knowing people are watching you. Nellie that's coming after you, I tell her, people are watching you. They know I'm coaching you. If they see you in the grocery store buying cookies, they're going to tell me. So the more eyes we have on you, the better, right? Because it's an addiction. It's right up there with heroin.
It is.
Food is killing people.
People don't understand that.
I understand it perfectly clear, and I'm going to do my part to help as many people as I can, because we don't want to lose the good people like you. So the one thing that'll be interesting with you, Keith, and after you've worked with me for about a month or so, I'm going to ask you how you feel. Three words that describe how you feel, and they're going to be really different than today. So today's words were, ashamed, disappointed, and scared. Your words are going to change. In 30 days, you're going to feel differently about yourself. I don't know what you're doing with your time now, but you have lots of time.
I have lots of time.
You have time to exercise. You have time to prepare your foods, and I remember you are a decent cook, right? You have time to shop for your foods. You have time to meet me. So the only thing I don't have time for is excuses. So.
And this isn't going to be an excuse, because I found a way around it. I can't stand physically more than 5 or 10 minutes without my knees and hips having pain. So I have a old computer chair that I put in the kitchen, and I'll either sit down and cook. It might sound lazy, but that's the only way I can do it.
But at least you're getting your cooking done.
Yeah.
So okay.
So there's ways around it, so that has limited preparing a lot of my own meals and stuff like that. See, I got to the point where I was just eating rice or something with rice 4 times a week. And of course those carbohydrates just make things, it adds on to the weight. So that's been a big thing, is changing what I'm eating too. So
Keith, what do you find, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I see this so often, where somebody like you who's been hospitalized and you're in a place where there's dietitians and there's all these professionals, why haven't they helped you? What's the disconnect there, Keith?
because I don't know them.
Yeah. I think that's so true.
I know you've been on my side before. It wasn't your fault that I wasn't. I mean, it was my choice. Financially, I probably could have still made it financially, but with the stress and everything else, but like you say, excuses. With you, I know that I have a friend that loves me and doesn't want me to lose in life. And your knowledge, nutrition and everything else, compared to like a dietitian or a nutritionist from the hospital or a diet business or something like that, it's knowing you is just a huge thing, because I can be personal with you.
And it really is personal. I mean, it's it's not something you just want to share with a total stranger. So I'm honored that you're here today, and I'm looking forward to working with you. And I hope everybody out there, if you see these videos, please comment below and just give Keith the support that he needs, because this is going to be a long road. I've had many clients lose 100 pounds in a year, and that's it. We got more than that. We got some layers to peel away, but time and patience, and you have time, and you have patience. I got all sorts of time right now. So, and that's a real roadblock between most people. Is they obviously it's an excuse, but I mean we've got lots of time. So we're gonna close this interview, and when the camera's not rolling, Keith and I are gonna talk about a little bit of a plan, and we're gonna just make new goals each week. And when we start rolling the cameras next week, we're just gonna update you guys about what we decided to do as far as our game plan. So thanks for being my guest, Keith, and thanks for coming here today. I know it was probably a big move, might
It
have
was.
caused you a bit of anxiety, and
Well, thanks for chasing me down at Super One in the parking lot.
yeah, that's what I do best. So, all right, you guys, as always, I love connecting with you, inspiring you, and motivating you, and we appreciate all the support that you guys can give Keith through this journey. We'll see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.